Warning in the mountains. After finishing 11th grade, a group of students decided to go on a trip to the forest nestled in the mountains. It was a peaceful, remote place, far from the hustle and bustle of towns and cities. Very few people lived in that area. In fact, on the mountainside, there was only one family who had made their home there for many years. When the students arrived, they looked for a place to set up camp. After choosing a nice spot near a large fir tree at the foot of the mountain, they realized they had forgotten something essential: matches. Without matches, they couldn't make a fire to cook food or keep warm at night. So a few of them walked up to the lone house they had seen earlier to ask for some. An old man came out to meet them. He had a calm, wise expression and seemed to know the mountains well. "Where are you planning to camp?" he asked kindly after giving them the matches. "We've set up our tents near the big fir tree at the base of the mountain," one of the students replied. The old man's expression changed. His brow furrowed, and a serious tone came into his voice. "You shouldn't camp there," he warned. "That place is not good. Move your tents higher up the mountain. Trust me, it's safer there." The students looked at each other uncertainly. They appreciated his concern, but they had already pitched their tents and were tired from the journey. They didn't want to move everything again. So they thanked him politely and went back to their campsite without following his advice. Later, as night fell, the air became cold. The wind howled through the trees and the temperature dropped quickly. The students wrapped themselves in blankets. But it wasn't enough. Despite the old man's warning, they decided to build a fire to stay warm. As the flames flickered in the darkness, the fire crackled and danced. The students huddled around it, feeling comforted by the warmth. But then something strange happened. Suddenly, the fire seemed to shift and move in an unnatural way. It grew brighter and started to take a shape, like a figure, like a person. The students stared in horror as the flames formed into something alive. Then the fire spoke. "You lit a fire where you shouldn't have," it said in a deep, echoing voice. "This place is not yours." Before anyone could react, the fire extended a fiery arm and grabbed one of the students. With terrifying strength, it dragged him away, up the mountain, disappearing into the darkness. The others were frozen with fear. Once they could move again, they immediately grabbed flashlights and set out to search for their friend. They called his name, their voices echoing through the cold mountain forest. Hours passed. The night seemed endless. But just before dawn, one of them spotted something near a large tree. There, tied up and shivering under a tall poplar tree, was their missing friend. He was alive, but shaken. His clothes were torn, and he had scratches and bruises on his arms and legs, as if he had been dragged through the forest. They quickly untied him and treated his wounds as best they could. Then they packed up their campsite and prepared to leave the mountain as soon as possible. Before leaving, they returned to the old man's house. They told him everything that had happened and asked him what he knew. The old man listened quietly, nodding slowly. Then he spoke. "There is a spirit that watches over this forest," he said. "A powerful presence that does not like fire, especially not near that old fir tree. That place is sacred. Long ago, something happened there. People who come and light fires in that place, they disturb the spirit, and the spirit punishes them." The students were silent. They finally understood the seriousness of the warning they had ignored. "From now on," the old man added, "remember, not every beautiful place is meant for camping. Some places belong to something older than us, and sometimes it's best to listen to those who know the land. Since that day, no one dared to camp in that spot again, and if they did, they certainly never lit a fire.